Hey everybody, welcome into another edition of Make Every Second Count Live, the show where we help you live your best life and teach you to make every second count. Why should you do that? Because you never know when the seconds are going to run out on your one life. So tonight, guys, it might be a substitute person on as a guest tonight. But I'll tell you one thing, I did not go any lower on my expectations of these people. I vetted these people and I made sure that each one of them is right for this show. So I would like to introduce Jordan. Hey Jordan,
Evening,
how are
Jeff.
you?
I'm great. How are you?
Oh, I am fantastic. So, guys, we ask you if you would please share this video out, invite people to watch it. Go ahead and just tag some friends in the comments. If you have any questions, don't be afraid to ask them. But right now, I am going to let Jordan introduce himself and tell you where he's from, what he does, and more importantly, why he does what he does. And I'm going to be sharing this out on Facebook and all kinds of different places. So if you're watching live, please let us know where you're watching from. I'd be happy to give you a shout out. If you're watching the replay, don't forget to put hashtag replay in the comments. And thank you so much, Jordan. Take it away.
Yeah, thank you, Jeff. I appreciate it. Really appreciate being here. What you're doing, Jeff, is a lot of fun. Making sure everybody understands that life is real valuable. Like Jeff mentioned, I'm a life coach. I take what I do pretty seriously for some really important reasons to myself. I'm in Boise, Idaho, and I help typically men who are looking for their next step forward in life find out what that is and follow through with it. Some of the coaching projects I've completed have been a speaking tour to the the Southwest United States, including Arizona and Nevada. I wrote my first book, a workbook called the Forgiveness Gratitude Workbook. It can be found at forgivenessgratitude.com. And the real drive behind what I do are two women in my life, my mom and my daughter. My mom was killed about 20 years ago in Seattle. Wrong place, wrong time. It's just, something that you don't ever expect to happen to you as an individual. So it took me a decade or so to get back to some sort of normal life. My daughter was born a handful of years after that. And, she's part of the reason that I keep driving every day to make this world a better place. Find out where I can utilize my skills and experience and knowledge and, what I've accomplished in my life to help other people accomplish something important in theirs. So, like I said, it's been a lot of fun experiencing what I've done here. And I appreciate what you're doing, Jeff, helping people find some solutions for their lives.
Yes, that is awesome. And I am sorry to hear about your mom.
Thank you.
That's really sad. And I feel for you because I've also lost my mom. But if you would like to go ahead and tell people what a couple things or one thing that you've been through, and we will talk about that for a few minutes, and we will figure out a little something about how to deal with those things.
Yeah. Well, after my mom was killed, I started my own portrait photography studio, something that was really near and dear to my heart, helping people create the memories that can be, a lifetime, that can last a lifetime. Did a lot of photography for families, senior portraits, as well as babies, which was just a blast, photographing newborns and 3, 6, 9, and 12-month-olds almost every day of the week. It was great. But about 7 or 8 years after I started my business, it went away. The 2008, 2009 economic downturn, if you'll call it that, kind of threw a monkey wrench in everything. So, I know a lot of people have experienced job loss or job change or their business going away recently here, and that was something that really just knocked me for a loop. It was really challenging to recover from something that was out of my hands. Essentially, I was given my pink slip by the economy, So what I ended up doing was finding a way to meditate, and this was about 2010. Started to figure out that I could breathe and get through the anxiety and the challenges on a daily basis of, having life just kind of fall apart. It happens. It wasn't anybody's fault in particular, kind of like the recent pandemic that we're all facing as well. So the things that I did were pretty specific. I started researching and reading a lot, people like Alan Watts, a lot more business, sales, the stuff that I enjoy, and ended up finding out that meditation and breathing were extremely helpful for my just peace of mind on a daily basis. So I ended up developing a program that bookends sleep. In the evening time is where I start with forgiveness of all things. That was something that really didn't make sense to me for a long time, and having lost my mom, obviously, to something that was out of my hands, it was really challenging to find a way to move through the anger and guilt and frustration and blame, that goes along with that. And then losing my business on top of that was out of my hands is kind of, a double whammy a handful of years later. But what I ended up doing, like I said, was creating a program that I started with forgiveness in the evening right before I go to sleep. Some of the most influential time that we have in our lives is right before we go to sleep and right when we wake up. We're really close to the subconscious and unconscious levels of our personality and our brains, our minds. So after discovering that, I started the process in the evening of forgiveness right before sleep. And then right when I wake up, it's gratitude. So I name at least a handful of things that I'm grateful for. And typically I'll find one or two that kind of just move me to an emotional state of being, a tremendous amount of gratitude that fills up the day. It kind of sets the tone. It's easy to be grateful for things once I've outlined the stuff that I really do enjoy in my life. My mom obviously is one of those. My daughter, my relationship with my family and friends, my girlfriend, and then my career, and then my health too. You hit the big three obviously there, but figuring out how to make that a habit was really challenging after going through all of this stuff. And, the book ending and then visualization and meditations, there's all kinds of tools we can use. So I use a lot of those in my coaching practice, making sure that people have the tools that they need to be able to cope with the situations they're in on a daily basis,
Now that is actually fantastic. And when I wake up every morning, even before I get out of bed, I post on Facebook, I am so thankful to be given today, and I will make it a great day. Now, I don't look at any comments. I don't look at my notifications. Don't look at my friend requests. I just get on there and post that every morning. Now, that is like an affirmation to myself that I express gratitude with that every day, but I am also setting an intention on the day. Now, I know before you talked about visualization. I have trouble with that word every time I say it. But how exactly does going over your gratitude and visualization that sounds weird, but how does going over those things help you get into a better state?
That's a really good question, Jeff, because the emotional stuff comes up quick, and sometimes it's unexpected, and sometimes there's some circumstances that make it really challenging. For me, it was breathing. You know, I was figuring out how to have a reaction that was not emotional. You know, and that takes some deeper work, but a lot of that work is through meditation and breathing itself. When I was younger, the visualization became really important when I was playing baseball. And this is something a lot of people don't do when they're adults, you know, when they get older in life, because kids do it all the time. You know, I mean, growing up playing baseball, I was watching the World Series and playoffs all the time, pretending I was the slugger at the end of the game, hitting a grand slam to win the game. You know,
Yep.
and
Always when I was always in those kind of things, I was always like, I was up, bases loaded, bottom of the ninth, 2 outs, and then I would be up, and it would be like, home run, and Jeff is the winner. Yeah,
exactly. That's easy for kids, you know, and there's a couple of stories I tell that I've used as visualization in my talks to give examples, but that's actually one of the foundational principles of the Infinite Possibilities program that I'm certified in and teach is another 5 minutes a day. So really it's about 15 minutes a day now that I take. Sometimes it's more, not normally less, but time for gratitude every day, time for forgiveness, and then visualization of the end result that I want to accomplish and feel, you know, the day after a speaking event, or you know, a tour concludes of 5 cities, you know, or else, or we have a mastermind that concludes at the end of 8 weeks or something. You know, what are the feelings that we want to have? You know, when my clients are working on programs with me, you know, what are the feelings we have after getting a job, after gaining a promotion, you know, or going on a date with that lady that you thought was way out of your league. You know, it doesn't really matter what it is, but you know, making sure that we have the principles behind our intentions and actions that are what we want in our lives. Those are the types of things that are really important in the coaching process, and finding out how to really go after our dream life, you know.
that is pretty awesome. Now, I know you were talking about meditation. Now, when a lot of people, when you say that to them, they're like, "Oh, I don't have time to meditate. My mind just runs and runs and runs and runs, and I can't control that stuff." So, how can you explain to somebody that meditation is possible for everyone and their mind isn't too busy for meditation?
Some people already think that they can't, you know, and that's a challenging one to overcome. But usually I use a real simple example. You know, if anybody's ever been close to a car accident and they stop for a second, they're kind of right after their white knuckles go away, and they just breathe about 3 or 4 times, and they concentrate on their breath. You know, that really is the foundation, is concentrating on our breath. There's many different kinds of meditation. My personal suggestion is to find one that's a guided meditation to begin with on YouTube. And I do have a friend, she just recorded her own first guided meditation of her own. She's a life coach out of Australia, and it's phenomenal. I'm talking with her to potentially put that as a bonus onto my website. But the meditation for me started back in school, or grade school, playing baseball with my dad. He's a world-class guitarist. So controlling his breathing through meditation was something he had studied for a lot of years through a lot of teachers like Gurdjieff and other people who are, you know, the physical performance breathing combination, you know, the mental approach. So meditation's been easy for me in my life. I've been really lucky. I was taught when I was young. But guided meditation is probably the easiest place to start, you know, and I like to keep it to about 5 to 15 minutes at the most.
That is amazing. Just 5 minutes
Just 5 minutes.
is a
Yeah.
benefit to us?
Well, the reason 5 minutes is a good place to start is because it has an intention behind it. The rest of the day can have zero intention. And this is another principle we teach in the Infinite Possibilities course, is that 5 minutes of visualization or meditation can overcome weeks worth of negativity. It's 10,000 times more powerful. Every minute of meditation can be worth an entire days worth of negative energy or unintended energy. Let's call it that. It's real straightforward because it's intentional, and we can let things be still and flow and not have to push anymore. Our bodies get the sense that we're okay, but it takes time.
Yeah. So let me ask this. How does, or wait, I gotta think how to word this, but how should you sit? What posture should you be in to do this? I mean, people, if they're going to meditate, I know a lot of people are going to want to do it right. So, what's right and what's wrong?
Um, right is comfort. All right. Something that's tense is not going to be an easy thing to maintain. So I've meditated laying down for hours in the past. Oftentimes I'll do breathing exercises that are seated that I do laying down. So something that's upright with your back or laying down is my suggestion. Medical conditions obviously can take precedence there, and obviously check with a doctor if you have any concerns before you get into any programs. That's something that's always suggested. Even though we don't deal with anything that's medically related. Anything when we're talking about breathing or meditation is always a good place to start with your current healthcare professionals. But ease is what we're looking for. Getting back to the question, anything that causes tension is going to be something that's going to be a negative or a detractor when we're meditating. Anything that allows us to have some ease and peace, some smells, potentially aromatherapy is always a positive thing. A lot of people like to combine a sauna or a hot tub or a bath or something, get into where it can be a comfortable situation. You don't have to hold on to all of the things that you traditionally do. That's kind of the purpose of meditation, is being able to give some of that space for the things in our life to be loosened. We don't want to grip onto everything at 100% all the time.
I happen to know that every time I go to meditate, I usually do it right before bed, like just laying there. And if I fall asleep, it's okay. I don't care.
Absolutely.
But it's better to do it when I'm laying down, because I've tried it sitting up, and when I sit Indian style or lotus position, I can't do lotus, but I'm saying something like lotus. I get my legs fall asleep and my back just starts to hurt, and it's like I can't be doing this. But when I try and meditate, I always run into the issue that, well, am I doing it right? And why am I feeling this? Why am I feeling that? Why am I not sitting up straight? Because my back just keeps curving. But I don't want to do that. I want to sit up straight and breathe through my nose and out through my mouth and keep my eyes closed. And I get all those thoughts coming to my head, and it's like, well, what's the benefit of this?
Sure.
Because it's like my mind is more active when I'm like that.
That's exactly why I like to suggest a guided meditation for people who are beginners. All right. I still even use binaural beats myself personally. A company called Centerpoint, a gentleman, Bill Harris, he's passed on now, started binaural beats back in the 80s or so. Anyway, I use that because it starts to activate both sides of our brain.
Yeah.
And there's something really positive about our bodies to use both sides. Walking, doing something with both hands, swimming, things like that. Extremely healthy for our bodies as well as our minds. To integrate the entire body. Really, to get to the core of the ease of meditation. When we focus on our internal self, it ends up taking away from the experience. It's one of the reasons that breathing is so popular for meditation, because when we start to focus on our breathing in particular, there's no real voice in our heads that will come up and start to say things like that, although they will try to persist. Those voices keep coming and they will never stop. One of the ways that I like to explain it is like holding on to a balloon. So think about a child who has a balloon and it's a thought. All right. And they want to hold on to it. They don't want to let it go. Right. That's what our ego or what our daily external life is telling us all the time is you can't let go of that thought. You got to hold on to it. Meditation, what that does is allow us to just let go and allow that process of thought to continue without holding on, without having any anxiety about it or fear that the future won't come, because we're not here focusing on the future. We're here looking at this one little breath, and that's all we have time for right now. It's the only focus. There's nothing else. And when a thought comes, another one comes, it's no problem. It's right here and I can let it go. And I can choose to let the next one go and the next one go. It's a challenging process to make habit, and it can take a little bit of time. And again, that's why one of the best places to start is a guided meditation. In fact, let me see if I can ask Lauren. She's a fellow Infinite Possibilities trainer. See if I can have her meditation, her guided meditation on my website for people to be able to access. I know she has it on YouTube, but my website is jordanmardis.com. You see my name right down there, wherever it is, jordanmardis.com. And Lauren Crute is her name. I'll tag her on Facebook here as well in the comments to make sure we can get her guided meditation around. That's the easiest place to start for people who are beginners, and there's no wrong way to do it. Really, that's a great question. It's one of the easiest places to start is, am I doing anything wrong? And the answer is no. As long as you're breathing, you're doing it okay. Right?
Well, I hope they're breathing.
Me too.
If you're holding your breath, let it out.
There you go. That's the foundation.
So let's say somebody has lost a job. Somebody has lost a family member. Somebody has lost all their money in their life, and their house is being foreclosed on. And how can these things benefit those people?
Oh man, they don't look like a benefit to begin with. They never do. The mentality that this too shall pass is really crucial to keep in place in those times, and that's usually where I start with people who are looking for kind of the next step. But the easiest way to get back to being into at least a halfway positive, again, the bookending of sleep, starting with forgiveness in the evening. And a lot of times the easiest place to forgive and have it be really powerful is with ourselves. That was probably one of the most important pieces that I did for myself, was when I found that forgiving me for my part and what was going on in my mom's death and my career and the other things that are going on in my life. I'm responsible for those things, and that's challenging to take sometimes. But getting back to the question, it can be really challenging to take on those things to move forward. So taking one day at a time, obviously, baby steps, the Infinite Possibilities course, we teach very specifically to take action. What are people in their peer situation doing? Okay, if they've lost a job and they're looking for another position within their career skill set, what are the other people who are looking for a job doing? Or if somebody who is on the precipice of moving into their own business and gets laid off, what are other people in that business doing? Okay. It doesn't matter what it is, get started doing something and take action. Okay. Those things are difficult to do when we're in a poor me mindset, So taking action is crucial, yet we want to have the intention behind it. And that's where the precursor step of getting the feeling of an accomplishment, so somebody who's been laid off, they've been applying for jobs for weeks, and before we go apply for jobs or do that visualization, we're going to find a situation where we just got a paycheck, and it feels wonderful. We just saw the bank account change Friday morning, because we get paid every couple of weeks. Yeah, we're going rah rah, and those little feelings are more of an accomplishment for us than most things throughout the day when we're in a down state, depression or something that we're not feeling real positive. So those mindsets, when we get into that place and visualize, then we start to take baby steps in action around those pieces that other people are doing in our similar place in life. Things start to happen. We don't hold on to it. That's kind of what I like to teach, is that the easier that we hold, the faster things go away and the faster they come, because there's a lot of things that happen that are out of our control. Very little do we have control over in this life, other than, obviously our thinking and our actions, and then, influence around our sphere of influence. Yeah. So it's challenging, though. It can be overwhelming at times. It can turn into depression. And those things take consistent action on a daily basis to do something, and taking baby steps in the general direction is the easiest place to start.
Man, that's great advice, and I appreciate that, because that's what I want to do on this show. I want to help other people find their, as you say, limitless potential, but I say that I want to help everybody else make every second count. So, do you have any contact information you'd like to give out, Jordan? And
sure.
Tell us how we can get that book.
Yes. Go ahead and head over to my website, jordanmardis.com. The workbook is free there for a short period of time. Don't know how long that's going to be. Have other programs in the works, and so eventually it'll be a paid product. But I love giving that into the hands of people who really want to move forward. Moving on is not the right term to me. After we lose somebody or we lose a job, or we're in a position where our health isn't the greatest, we don't just move on. We can't just shed our skin and leave. That's not how it works. We end up where we have to pick up the pieces and move on with what we have. So that's really what the workbook talks about. And that's at jordanmardis.com. And then our Facebook group is at forgivenessgratitude.com. That's my starting place at this point. I have some other programs in the works, and they'll be available here soon.
That is wonderful. Now, I ask you if you would please put that information in a comment on Facebook, and
absolutely,
I'll make sure that people that need it get it and everything like that. But everybody out there, including you, Jordan, need to do me a favor. This week, next weekend, for the rest of the year, the rest of your life, whatever, you need to make every second count. Why? Because you never know when the seconds are going to run out on your one life. Hey guys, I'll see you back here next Tuesday, 7 p.m. Eastern Time, where we help you get through the stuff that you're dealing with, and we help you make every second count and unleash your limitlessness, or I forget already. So, but you guys have a fantastic night. I'll see you back here next Tuesday,
Jeff.
7 p.m.
Thank you, everybody.
Again, Jordan.
Appreciate it. Yeah, have a wonderful night.